All right, hello, welcome everyone. Sorry for my appearance and my voice. I've got the flu on top of everything else. That's great. But here we go. Let's get this thing recorded. So in the first part of our didactic unit, Andrea planned a task which was really solidifying the general vocabulary that we would need for students to talk and think about natural disasters. Um, so my task in this middle section is going to have students break into groups and then kind of do an opinion gap or information gap um, task where they're sharing what they've learned about specific natural disasters with the other groups in their class. So each there's going to be three groups, and they're going to do natural disasters related to fault lines, earthquakes and volcanoes, right? Natural disasters related to high pressure systems, hurricanes and tornadoes, and natural disasters related to rain cycles, so floods and wildfires. And they're going to learn some specific things about those respective natural disasters, and then present what they've learned to the other groups in their class and make a poster about it. So in our first lesson, or in my first lesson, which would be lesson 4, we're getting into the pre-task stuff. So we're warming up our vocabulary. To do that, I've got a multilingual dictionary exercise planned. I really love the multilingual dictionary technique that we've learned about in our translanguaging studies. I've actually been using it a lot in my new job here in America, and I thought it belonged here. So they'll kind of start informally breaking into groups. Not every student needs to make their own multilingual dictionary, but they can work individually or in pairs or in small groups to start collecting little flashcards to make multilingual dictionaries. Then we divide our class into three groups and we do a little mystery door game where we assign mystery door number 1, mystery door number 2, or mystery door number 3 to the respective groups. And behind that mystery door will be what natural disaster they're going to be learning about. All right, so then once they're broken into these groups, we can distribute a small text that's in our appendix, and there will be a small text, like just one paragraph explaining some more specific details about the natural disasters. And students can take some time to skim that together, and teacher can go group to group asking what they don't understand, encouraging them to put more specific vocabulary words in their multilingual dictionaries. Um, and this is where the class gets interesting because now the three different groups are gonna start developing three different multilingual dictionaries, right? The group that's learning about seismic activity will learn about fault lines and the Earth's crust, while the group that is learning about hurricanes and tornadoes will learn about air pressure and the Gulf of Mexico, something like that. Um, and then to cool down for that, students just maybe pick a group representative to hold on to their multilingual dictionary. They will draw a logo. They can draw a little picture, like for their group team. A little logo with a spiral for a tornado or a flame for the wildfire group. And then they agree that they will meet back in those same groups tomorrow for the next lesson, which then does bring us to the next lesson, lesson number 5. So here, now that we've warmed up with the vocab, and setting up the groups and helping them understand what exactly they're doing, learning about, um, uh, we move from the pre-task into the task in this next lesson, lesson number 5, where we begin to introduce the language element of my task, which is using linking words or conjunctions to describe relationships of cause and effect. Right. So we're going to be using words like because of, since, therefore, as, so. So they're going to do that. All right, so to warm this class up, we get the students back in their groups and just get them working, find their logo, find their multilingual dictionary, review the new words they learned yesterday, and, talk about themselves, kind of self-teach. a little bit. Of course, teachers going from group to group directing what they're doing. But by this time, with the age group that we're working with, I expect that the students will do a lot of the teaching of themselves between groups. This is meant to be really student-centered and student-led activity. So in this case, I'm not trying to be lazy, but I think in this point, like less is more when it comes from the teacher. So this is the time to take a step back and let the students teach themselves and teach their neighbors um, what they're learning. All right, and then we get into the awareness portion of this lesson. So the teacher will now go around and distribute some pre-made cards, which, and will have those linking words. So I'll give each group a card that says because of, since, and so on. And students can use these words to try to write a few example sentences. All right, so earthquakes happen because the Earth's crust move, right? Um, Many wildfires happen in Turkey as the summers are hot and dry. Right, so we're trying to create a few example sentences. Um, and then when the students are ready and prepared, they will present to the rest of the class the example sentences which they made. So this is the interesting thing, right? Because each group has a different natural disaster, they're now not only practicing their productive skills, they're literally teaching the other two-thirds of the class some more specifics about natural disasters. And then we introduce our poster project. So we're going to get a big board and students can start to think ahead about what they're going to put on their third of the poster, presenting their respective natural disaster. And then the sixth lesson in our didactic unit and the final lesson in my part of the section takes us from the task into the post-task stage. Uh, so we're going to get the students into groups, and here's where we have our learning menu. Right, the most independent students who need low support may actually be elected to go to another class to take a little class trip down the hallway to say if we're working with fifth graders, say they're going to go down to the fourth graders classroom, and actually present the poster that we've made, and teach those little fourth graders something that we've learned about, earthquakes and droughts and things like that. The medium support students don't need to go and actually speak. Instead, they will write three or four sentences, just a mini paragraph about what they've learned about natural disasters. And then the high support students will come up to the teacher's desk, come up and work with me, and we will take their vocabulary cards, which they've made in their groups, and compare which ones are different and which ones are the same. So they'll notice, all of our groups have the word in our multilingual dictionary, earthquake, but only this group has the word crust. Right. And then our post-task activity, this was kind of fun. I thought as a group we could take the last few minutes of class and do a little two truths and a lie game in foreign languages. So I love the idea of multilingualism, not just as a way to create, kind of bilingual equity or multilingual equity in our classrooms, although it's super important. But I just think it's fun to play with a bunch of random languages. It's fun for me and I think good for the kids. So, a true truth and a lie game, I might say in Spanish, en Filipinas ocurren terremotos, right? Earthquakes happen in the Philippines. In Chinese, I might say, Yehuo yin ganhan fa sheng, right? Which means wildfires happen because of drought. And in Luganda, the language of Uganda, Africa, one of them, Mujapan mulimu omuyaga umungi. There are many tornadoes in Japan, and students can have some fun figuring out what those sentences mean and which one is a lie and which ones are truths. And finally, we've got a little self-assessment where students are going to green light, yellow light, red light themselves and tell the teacher or tell their group mates, I'm green on where tornadoes and hurricanes happen. I'm yellow, I'm medium about why tornadoes and hurricanes happen. And I'm red, I don't get what is a conjunction, something like that. So that's the self-assessment. Thank you for watching this. And